So now we're back. So we left off last time. We've found a home province here in the edges of Scythia. We found the capital city here in Eugenic, Transarcania, and we've got, on leather and plains. So it's on the river, leather, plains. You can see here you get the plains, food bonus, and let's see if I can find the population attraction. So it should be here. So you can see it's a settlement. That's where they're migrating from. We got the winter, right? So slows it down. But adjacent to major river, +2. I can't find. Here we go. Migration attraction. So the base is +1. If you are adjacent to the major river, you get +2. Our civilization value sucks, so it's 0.02. Capital area is +2. Settlement -3. And available population capacity. So I just put it here to be on the river, get that extra +1. I don't know how long we're going to be here, but that is beneficial over the long run. And as you can see with these green lines, they're all flooding into the capital, and eventually they'll come from all parts of the empire if the attraction is high enough. So we've done that. Now we're going to settle this province because it's got a lot of food. It's a very nice province, and we may even settle over here. If you settle in a different region, so this region is Sarmatia Asiatica. One thing that you'll note is you'll get extra levy armies. So it may be beneficial. And I won't settle to the border with the Bosporan. One thing about being here and the fact that you can't build ports on this lake is, as long as I don't connect my territories to anybody else, nobody can declare war on me except another migratory tribe. Alright, so let's go do that. So we're going to go settle Norum and slowly fill out this territory. So I've got a rebellion happening in 8 months. I can do some trade here. You can see I've got 2 leather already and 2 ores, 2 loads. So I've got lots of, my national tribesman happiness is up. They should be like super happy now. Yeah, they're incredibly happy. So wild game, it's good for archers, but I'm going to bring in grain to get that bonus, and I'm going to bring in base metals because eventually I want to get that bonus too. Alright, so we'll do that. So I talked a little bit about, first episode, the Seleucid strategic imperative. Second episode, the Parnia strategic imperative. Third episode, with the Nabatean history. Fourth episode, a little bit about the Scythians and their development. So now we're here. Really, we can talk about, whoever we're close to. We can talk about the Bosphorans a little bit. So, they actually started supposedly with a guy named Spartacus. That's why this guy is not this Spartacus, but another one. He's a descendant of this original Spartacus, and that's why he's a Spartacid. And they actually have a unique heritage, I think. Where is their heritage? Bosphorus. I thought they had a unique heritage, but maybe they don't. Their culture, I don't know how you tell that. Okay. So, but he was Thracian mercenary and came and basically took over an existing city-state here at Pantikapion and essentially grew to rule this area called Taurica, which was named after a tribe called the Tauri, which are not around. And the Bosphorian kingdom was long-lived. It lasted even into the Roman period. It was a client state of the Romans. And interestingly enough, that you see this Mithridatic kingdom, the descendant of Mithridates, who eventually went to war with the Romans, one of his descendants married into the Bosphorian kingdom family, and the Romans actually preferred to put him on the throne. So the kingdom survived. It probably outlived the Romans, and was headed by a Mithridatic king, descended from an old Achaemenid provincial governor's family. Interesting. So, all right, so we're here, back to the game on Norm. So we settle there. You see, it took 4 pops to settle that location. Basically, you need the equivalent amount of colonists in order to settle, and it will settle there. So this one only took 3. So we'll go and just keep moving. We'll go over here, settle both sides of the river. So my civil war is at 6 months. Probably a good idea to take a look at what I can do to stop it. So I think these guys at 33 are the ones causing the trouble. The old system used to let you know, like I could click there and it would give me the guys who are actually causing trouble. The new system doesn't do that. But I think it's these guys. So his power base in the country is 1.0. I don't think it's him or him. Maybe it's these clan chiefs. That doesn't make sense though, because they're at 39. So let's take a look at the loyalty. Actually, let's take a look at power base and see who's disloyal. Okay, so this apothecary guy is at 40, and he's at 51. But I don't want to do any actions. So I guess 40 is the limit for disloyalty. I thought it was higher than that, but okay. So these guys, they don't have a large power base. So I don't know how they plan to overthrow everybody. All right, but let's just deal with them. We could give them free hands, or we could bribe them. I'd rather bribe them. How much wealth do I have? I only have 289. So if I get sick and I bribe these guys, then I don't want the corruption to go through the roof, though. So this corruption's already at 10. This guy's at 0, so I'll give him free hands. And that got rid of it. So he'll get more corrupt, but what can you do? So we're going along. I wanted to say PI so I can get the things. So this province of Atara is starting to run out of food. Just because we have so many units in it. That'll change. So let's see, Parnia, they're making war on Khwarezmia. They'll do their thing for a while I sit here and populate this place. So let us go to Iska. So I'm settling along the river here, just because the river is a good place, extra migration attraction, blah, blah, blah. Scholar of the Divine. Aryatewe Kadota has, by all accounts, remained a scholar of the divine for much of his life. It caused some embarrassment, therefore, when he discovered extorting a local temple to an egregiously unreasonable degree. Before reprimanding Aryatewe, it must be said that it would be expeditious to our efforts to influence him if we were to brush this under the table. Yeah, so the phrasing is interesting, right? he's extorting the temple to an egregiously unreasonable degree. So if he just did it to an unreasonable degree, then maybe he'd be okay. So he could get corrupt. I could get corruption. I'm 41. I don't want that, and I get a lot of political influence. Or I just slap on the wrist. Let's slap him on the wrist. I don't want the corruption. So now my divine sacrifices are going. I'm going to instill my ideas of martial ethos and order retreat, and now my tribune's output is increased by 12%, which is a lot. So I don't make that much gold, but what can you do? So, I'm a migratory tribe. We don't have a lot of wealth. Our wealth is our people. Satsuma Vede is truly a dire advisor. People laugh openly at stories of his sheer inability to leave, and our enemies ire, and so it's safe to say that our people feel most easy. He needs time to adjust. Oh, okay. So that's fantastic. That guy. So I can populate a land, this Uvar. So I'll do that. Bountiful harvest. I'll take the money. Zelk. I can do that. I should ask for a governor now. Yep. Which is fine. So I could put a family, but I'd rather choose someone who's exceedingly loyal. So I'll go with this guy. And he's going to do religious conversion, which is fine. So we're going here. So you can see I've expanded, and I still have migration units coming. This is funny. So now we settle there. Now we're going to go here and settle. It says I can settle Skentra, Ush, and Goria. So I'll settle Goria. That is a new province, which is fine. So I'm not worried about bordering the Parni. Bosphorans, I don't want to border them because they'll get me in a war unnecessarily. But if I border the Parnia and they declare war on me, then I can just take their land, which is what I want to do eventually anyway. But what I'd rather do is, you can see here, this region, I'd rather grab this whole region of Scythia, and then that way have enough manpower to deal with them. So I'm not going to border them just yet. Although if you do it, it's not a big deal. So this is another Scholar Divine issue. I'm not going to take the corruption. Slap on the wrist. So you can see the barbarian spawned. So these guys are dangerous. They will kill my migratory pops. So these guys are going to run away. And these guys will settle here. And they'll settle there. I won't border the Parnian yet. So one good thing about these guys attacking barbarians is every time they sack an area, it decreases the civilization, but then it adds one pop. For us, that's great. We don't care about civilization. But I'm sure other people would care. But getting a pop in these exceptionally low populated lands is great. So you can see, like this barbarian, he's moving. I could create a tribal vassal, right, on this territory right here. I don't want to do that, but I could. So he's going to Ashina. So Ashina, let's take a look at how many pops it has. It has two. It has two tribesmen. And let's watch what happens. And let's see the religion. So one heptatic Thysigatian and one Jewish Dahai. So now we've increased in rank because we take so many territories. That's an advantage. Being a migratory tribe is I can increase in rank really quickly. So they depopulated. Oh, the Kasakid era. The growing strength and influence of our tribe would vouch for a stronger sense of unity and purpose among our tribes, but unlike city dwellers and more civilized people, our tribes are less willing to translate this sense of permanent blind loyalty. Some feel that the old clans can no longer speak for them and that they cater to a limited group of interests. Among these dissenters, the Kasakid clan has been growing in power and influence, and by now it's only natural of time. It's only a matter of time before one of their members is granted a place on the tribal council, beginning of a new era. So this is essentially saying, now I have a new family to deal with and keep happy. So let's take a look at my characters. And I want to show the family and then go to the Kaske. So, and see what attributes they have. So they look pretty good in oratory and religious zeal. Yeah, so one guy has an 8. He's got a 9 martial. That's not bad. 9. Okay. So what I usually like to do here is in the government, in the offices, if there's somebody who's really bad, I'll remove them. But if they're not, I don't like to remove them because of this statesmanship attribute. Because if as that keeps going up, then they're more effective in office. So I'd rather put them as a researcher. Let's go back to the families. And all the families have 1 extra slot, so I can pick any researcher. So this is at 100%, he's at 60, he's at 110, he's at 95. So let's see where they should go. So he's got a 9, that's great. This is at 95, and he's got a 9. Okay, so we'll put this guy here. You make a good general too, but I'm not fighting anybody right now, so. Back to the pops. Oh, so you can see here, it was 2, now it's 3. And it added a heptatic Scythian. So apparently the Scythians like to come out and just, foot stomp on us. So now I'm here, I'll take the base metals to get that bonus. Base metal bonus, light infantry offense. So your migratory hordes are all light infantry. So if you can get the bonuses of light infantry offense and leather light infantry defense, then it's great. So, and they are produce 1 leather. I produce leather already here, so I already get that bonus. So I am very satisfied with that. Now, one thing to note is one of the tribes I like to play with is the Sarmatians, who start here, and that's because they get a 10% bonus to infantry with their heritage, which is fantastic. So now we're still populating places. I just want these stacks big enough in case they run into this barbarian horde right there. Because if they run into him and they get hurt, they'll be in bad shape. So now he sacked the city again. He'll add another pop. He'll slowly decrease in manpower. He might sack my city, so I may want to go back there. But let's colonize these lands first. It'll take him a little while before he gets to that city. It's not a city, it's a capital, but still. I'd rather not have him sack the capital. So now it's at 27. What I'll do is, because I like the units to be the 20 stack, I'll send those guys back and continue my colonization. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So I want to get into that province. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to Chirota. Not boarding the Bosphorans yet. They probably won't declare war on me, but if they did, I'd rather not deal with them right now. And there's no way that they can come here. And actually, if I could get all the way here, I'd have another region. Yeah, so you can see here now we're about to fight. So since we're about to fight, I'll put a general in charge. I'll just pick the highest marshal. I've got enough units. I should be able to deal with him. And pick highest marshal, highest loyalty. Right, so and there you go. And now he's defeated. Okay, so Rujasarme Yurpeska our arbitrator has sent us a demand for more funding to do his job. The appeal for more gold seems a bit arbitrary, but we have noticed certain issues when it comes to that office lately. Though it seems a bit outrageous, not sending money will probably end up causing troubles down the line. So he's Jewish, not very loyal, and he's the arbitrator. And so for some reason, the arbitrator, who is this guy, right, that gives you aggressive expansion change, he's the one that does religious conversion. So that, to me, doesn't make any sense. You would think it would be somebody with this religious zeal who do that. By the way, our high priest, and this is why you leave him in office, is look at that impact. The Omen power is at plus 18%. So he gets modified by 90% for his statesmanship. So that's why I don't like to change these guys out. You know, my tax, 14%, happiness. Yeah, I like to leave them in. So hopefully this will be enough. Yeah, we're going to fund him because he's going to convert people. So we talked about before we moved here that it was all heptatic. But now look at it. Look at that Jewish. Eventually we could change the conversion to be Jewish, but I'm going to say the political influence for things like this, a minor addendum to get my stability up, and just leave it at that. So I could actually change a law now, but that would drop my stability again. So I'm waiting for this Parnia to take on the Seleucids and that to fire. So that usually happens around 480. Okay, so or 480, which is 8 years from now, right? So that's 480 is usually when it happens. So I'm just waiting for that. So we didn't lose. We've got 40 still, light infantry cohorts. That's what we want. We don't want to lose pops to barbarians attacks. That just sets us back. So we can colonize a new territory. He wants to do that. I don't want a border, or I can do that one. Okay, so I'd rather do that. So I'd like to get into Taurica, which is this region here, because it'll give me another governor, more wages I have to pay, but it also gives me more levies, and definitely would like to have that. And this whole region, everybody here is in my culture group, all in the Scythian culture group. So once they convert religions, their assimilation speed is really fast. We could take out the Bosphorans. I've done that before. You could actually do that early and convert to Hellenism if you wanted, instead of Judaism. I prefer Judaism. So now we've got more lands to settle. Do that. Do that one. So that gives us the Taurican area. So for the governor, you can see there's the marshal and the finesse. So you probably want to mix. Typically, I like to put the non-families in there, because then if I need to replace families and switch them out, then I have to go and change a governor, and I'd rather not change governors. Once you get them in there and they're loyal, it's the best thing to keep them there. Right? So, okay. So our ruler's efforts are loyal subject. Our ruler's efforts to influence Malika Vaide are well underway. In a jovial mood, Malika approached tribal chief Satyake, suggesting that a formal declaration of her loyalty and commitment to the clan council would be a fine way of showing our appreciation. We remain unconvinced that this is a politically sensible move. Or why not, or next time. So this is a good way to get a lot of PI. Now, losing a lot of stability is not cool either, but since I've got that 10 stability Judaic guy, I will take it. And actually, since it goes up 0.41, I'm cranking through this. So the question is, do I want to border with Scythia? they will eventually get swallowed up by the Bosphorans, so no border with Scythia. So there you go, 4. So now you see I colonized while I had a general, and the general goes away when you colonize. There is a bug, so you have to be careful that sometimes when you colonize with a general, it will dump all of your units there into the territory. So I didn't want to do that because I don't want to have to remigrate again, but I just wanted to make you aware. I don't know how that bug occurs. I haven't been able to recreate it consistently, so I hope that Paradox doesn't ask me. They would. I respond to their calls as long as they promise to fix the Marians, which is something I'll talk about. Tribal champion. Prabhase Kosika is an impressive clan chief known for his battle prowess and strength. After an extraordinary feat of defending his clan from a pack of wolves, the people around Prabhase Kosika has demanded to give him the honor of champion of the Xanthia. Surely the clan chief deserves the honor, but he is already a well-known figure and it would give him more leverage politically. So this guy again, clan chief, he's super loyal and he's got great stats actually. No corruption. And he has no gold. Why wouldn't I give it to him? Yeah, how could I refuse? That guy's great. That guy is awesome. I'm so glad he's working for me. Right? So, still colonizing. I like to colonize along the river before I do the rest of this. Yeah, well, whatever. If we make it to the river, that's fine. So let's check I don't want this province, so let's go around and make sure that I've lined up things so I'm not next to that province. So go to Rima. So you can see here, because of the low population, it doesn't take much for me to colonize these areas. And they become our pops. So Yegre is the one I want, but I'm going to go and do the river first. So if we check our nation, you can see that we're up to 193 with 88 Jewish to high. So we started out, we're actually up to 203. I don't know how that changed. We're up to 203, and we started out with 100. So already by migrating, we're able to double our population, probably quadruple our size. And we only had to fight one war where we lost no men. So I think that's pretty good. So let's close out this before we start. Let's just fill it. So lose faith, gain stability. What you'll notice is so I have these territories that are uncolonized within my territory. And I've done this before, but the computer will do it to you as well, where migratory tribe will come and settle in your land. So I've done that before, settled, declared war, and then taken over territory. I've actually done that in the old versions of the game. The fighting around here, if they actually fought here, and sometimes in Syria, would depopulate the areas, especially if there was a civil war. And then I was able to just settle in their land right there next to them and then declare war. But in this newer version, that doesn't happen. I think the Civil War mechanic doesn't, enslave pops like before. So now we're down to 17 cohorts. So usually at this point, I'll end the episode in a second. But at this point, I usually, once I get to kind of an area and kind of fill out and I feel comfortable, I usually leave some pops around. And so this is I would call it, the military would call it a RRF, right? A ready reaction force. And that's what I would call it. It's in the case that one of these other powers actually gets the funny idea to declare war on me. Once they declare war, I can't raise migratory units, and I'm left with my levies in order to fight. And they might not be sufficient, and I don't make enough gold to really support, any mercenaries or significant number. So last thing I'll do before I end is change this. All these should be religious conversion, but they'll convert slowly anyway. I don't see the point of speeding it up, and I'll just save the PI for other projects. Okay, so I think that'll end this episode. I thank you very much. All right, take care.